Hello, YouTube. Hello, good day, everybody. Good evening, good morning, whatever your time zone may be. This is James McLean here with Family Game Nights Forever, and today we're going to continue our journey about making a tic tac toe game web based with a Motoko slash Definity back end. But the back end is for later. Right now, we're working on game logic. So I've cleared the decks and I've made for myself a sandbox to try to work with the actual game logic. Um, Instead of actually looking at the tic tac toe board, my scoring logic will only be showing you a little bit of a string where internally uh, we will be taking care of what's going on with the game board. So instead of this, unfortunately, the computer prefers this. So each of these characters represents a different slot on the game board, whereas this is the middle row, this is the bottom row, these three characters, and this is the top row. And we simply have them numbered 1 through 9, and we need to be able to type in whether we want to place an X or an O. So if I go to slot 1 and I place an X and I hit execute move, I get a little alert box and see really the magic has already happened. The other thing now is I take this string and I update the web page over here with numbers and with my new piece. Okay. Likewise, if I want to place an O at slot 3, I go to slot 3 and I type an O and I execute the move. Now we see we get the O at slot 3 and the O at slot 3. Beautiful stuff. I'll show you how I did this, and it was not easy to come by. This little thing, just this little part, took about 3 hours to perfect. And I'll go over the hoops and hurdles as I explain the rest of the code. So this is the code, my JavaScript file named script.js that's making this happen. It is linked into my client.html right here. I put in the source script.js. That links this HTML page and all the controls on it to my script file. And now using jQuery, which starts with $ open parentheses, I can get access to all of the controls and all of their values. So after the document is ready, I have my game string here. So this is where all those numbers come from, and this is the internal database, if you will, of the state of the game board. I then wait for somebody to click that move piece button. So how those are linked is because I have an ID on this button here. This is the text that appears on the button, and then this is its ID for the rest of the code. This identifies it, like an ID does, with the name move piece. So you go hashtag move piece, and then I look for what's attached to it, a click function. So when it's clicked, I want you to perform this code here. That's what I'm telling it to the JavaScript. And I can't do what I want to do without more information than that, though. Just the fact that somebody clicks it, that doesn't tell me where to move the piece, and it doesn't tell me which piece to move. To get that information, I look at the other two query boxes. So I have a box called piece type, and that one people are instructed to put in an X or an O. And I have a box called slot, and that I tell people to put in a number between 1 and 9, as I'll show you. So the piece type box, X or O, game slot box, 0 through 9. Wonderful. So when this is clicked, I then go and grab the information from here and here. But I got to clean the information before I actually take use of it. If I don't, I might just actually break the code altogether. It might do something strange, or it might not work at all. So by cleaning the code, I mean that I need to be sure that they follow the instructions, that they put in an X or an O, and they put in a number between 1 through 9. Here's where that happens. This if test says piece type, which comes from here, which ultimately comes from the value of the box. Piece type, he needs to be either a lowercase x or an uppercase x, or lowercase o or an uppercase o. These double pipe characters they're called here, that means to JavaScript or. So this or this or this or this. If I get one of these four, then I'm good to go to execute this part of the code right here, down to this curly brace. Else, that is to say, if I don't pass this test, I'm going to do this code here. What does this code do? It brings up an alert box that says you messed up. The character has to be an X or an O, and it zeroes out the value of that box that's in error and lets you just go ahead and try again. It returns doing nothing else except telling you that you messed up. I'll show you how that works. So here's the O or the X. If I type in an L and I press the button, then it says piece must be of type X or O. And the L goes away because it was a bad bit of data anyway. If I put in an O or an X, and let's put in another slot, then what? I must have typed a 0 instead of O or X. There we go. And it changes. Good. The other thing I need to check for is the slot that I got within the range that I want. So I get into this code because I succeeded at the test of the type, but now I need to check for the test of the slot. If the slot is greater than 9, that's no good because there's only 9 slots on the board. If the slot is less than 1, which could be typed in, then that's also no good. So I set the value to nothing. Let's show you how that works. So if I type in 90, no good. I get it. Slot's highest number must be 9. If I type in -6, this is also no good. Slot is lower than number 1. But if I type in a good number, boom, it just works. Okay, now here's the code that makes it just work. I call, ooh, where did it go? Here. I found this replace at function online. I have the game string, and then I do a dot on the game string. So I'm calling this function on this game string. And I feed to it 2 parameters, the slot that I want to replace and the piece type that I want to use. And I've already made sure that these are clean, that this is a number between 1 and 9, and this is either an X or an O. Also at this point, I capitalize the X or the O. I think at this point, or maybe I do it elsewhere. Anyway, I make sure it's a capital letter because I don't want to check again. This brings you up to this prototype function here. Replace at, the function, as I said, takes an index, takes a character. It breaks with the split command the string that comes in through the prototype under the keyword, the special word this. It splits it on nothing, which means it splits it every single space. Therefore, the variable a becomes an array of each character in the string. Then I use index -1 to find the exact place, the slot, where index in this case, where I'm putting the new character, and I take the new character and I set it equal to that location in the array. After that, I join the array back up into a string again, and I return that to the place where it got called from, which means it comes back here, and then I put it into an alert box. You saw the alert box. Then I actually change the output on the web page. That part of the web page has an ID of output. I change that to the game string. Beautiful, beautiful. It works now. It was hard work to make it that way. So I hope you enjoyed that. leave any questions or